All right. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a really good episode. If you're watching, or I should say, if you're listening to this on a podcast network and not able to see me right now, this is not going to be conducive to you getting the most out of this. And this is going to be a really, really good episode. So, what I would suggest is that you hop over to YouTube and you go watch this video there. And again, if you're listening on YouTube or anywhere else and you're not watching right now, go over to YouTube, watch right now. I'm going to break down a market right now and give you a peek behind the curtain of how to figure out what's going on inside of a market and how you can compete in that market. Now, if you want some of these things for your office, all you have to do is comment below wherever you're at, and we can get these made for you. And I might shoot a podcast around it. And so I'm going to go into this market today. It's in Sterling, Virginia. Now, I'm not going to share the office name with you. However, I can just share a lot of the details. So this was a real doctor, real office, and I'm actually going to be sending this to him. And we're going to be talking about this today. So let's jump into it. So this is near the Washington, D.C. area, I believe, and it's a very, very high income area. So the doctor said, hey, just take a look at it. Tell me what's going on with this market. And as you can see the little red dot there. That's the office. And then what we have here is we have average household incomes up here on the top right side. So you can tell it's a higher income area, much higher income area. $135,000 top side average income, and then $100,000 low side household income, average household income. So high income, high net worth individuals, okay? Now, the black dots are the direct competitors that we need to think through. Now, are there more dentists in this market? Absolutely. But these are the ones specifically that we need to look at because they're of proximity and of reputation, which we're going to talk more about a reputation in a second. And then you can see the blue line here is a 15-minute drive around the office. So you can see very quickly where we can start to get an idea of where we can pull from. Now, one thing I want you to notice is, see this freeway that's cutting right through the middle here? Notice how the competition is positioned down below, and that freeway probably acts as something there, either a barrier or a container to help you drive new patients. Now, how we want to figure that out is eventually we want to get all the new patients that this office has had over the last couple of years, and we start to overlay those. Now, I don't have that data right now, but that's very, very helpful because you begin to see how the patients cluster on the maps, and this allows you to see where to market to, where to avoid, or where to spend additional dollars. Now, the other thing you can do in this high income area is you can actually start to figure out what kind of patients you don't want. Now, usually in high-income areas, you kind of want everybody. But let's say you're in the middle to low-income area, and there's certain insurances that you don't want coming in. Then you can start to take those certain insurances that have come in the past, and we can start to drop those on the map, figure out where they're coming from, and start to block those out. The other thing we can do is do specific treatment types. So if you are an office and you want a lot of implants, we can just pull all the implant patients, drop it on the map, and begin to get an understanding of where those patients are coming from and where to get more of them. So that's the first thing is we want to look at the income levels. Then we want to kind of see historically where people are coming from. And then next is we want to look at the population levels. Now, this is the same exact map. However, it's just population outlined now. So the population, you can see darker areas are higher population, lighter areas are lower population. So these yellow areas up here towards the top, right up here, those are almost nobody lives there. So we're not going to be pulling patients from there. But you can see right here around the office, it's like middle population, and you can see a nice dense population right above there. That's probably housing there. Just so happens that's where the higher income area is as well. So more than likely, this is like shopping centers down here where all the dentists are positioning themselves, and then where the opportunity to market is going to come up from up here. Okay. And again, you want to take historic new patient data and look at this and go through those and really figure that out, because you get a huge advantage when you can see where you've been successful and you see where you've been failing. But here it's pretty clear where we want to market to. Now, we might want to market down here to the bottom of the map as well, down here. So this might be an area down here. This might be some opportunity in here potentially, but without the historic new patient data and seeing like traffic flow, hard to know that for sure. You'd have to test that out. Okay, now let's look at some of the competition in this area. So this practice here, I blocked their name out, has 273 Google reviews in their particular market. So you say, is that good? 4.8 star. 4.8 star is good. But in comparison to the competition of some of those offices we just looked at, it's not as good. So you say, how so? Well, 662, 769, 519. All 4.8, 4.9, 4.8. Which dental office would you choose, right? Which dental office would you choose? So it becomes very easy to start to make decisions around this because someone who has a higher more Google rating, twice as much, 3 times as much, that's where the decisions are starting to be made. And here's what happens. And this is the part that most dentists don't understand. It's very cut and dry. If you have 273 Google reviews and your competition has 800 Google reviews, as you market, every time you spend $1, a percentage of that dollar is trickling into these top-rated dentists. And so the top-rated dentists absolutely eat, while the bottom-rated dentists are paying for those top-rated dentists to eat. So every single time you send a postcard, right? You pay $5,000 for a postcard. You have 273 Google reviews. You're going to get some results from that, but a portion of those results are going to end up to these top-rated dentists. Why? Because they show up in the search engines, they're near your office, and they have 3 times as many Google reviews as you. And it might just be 1%, 2% to each one of these, but they the winner takes all in each market. And they start to grab 1% here, 2%, and it starts to erode away at your marketing budget. So the fastest thing you can do to get patients in to your office at a reasonable rate and lower your cost is get more Google reviews. Hands down. So if this was my office, it would be a race to 1,000 Google reviews as fast as possible. That would be the race, okay? And I would bonus my team. I would bonus my team like crazy to help me get to that number. I would just want to get to 1,000. I want to get it because these other offices are racing there as we speak. So that's the first thing that we want to look at. Now, depending on what kind of patients we want to attract, there's a couple different ways to do that. So being that our Google reviews are lower, it's going to be a little bit harder or more expensive to attract patients. Doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means we want to work towards that number. And then from there, we want to figure out a strategy based on our budget, based on the competition and what everybody else is doing. So right now in this market, and I removed some of the names, Cosmetic and Family is doing a $99 exam and x-ray. This office here, remove the name, is doing a $125 cleaning exam and x-ray. This one's doing a $139 cleaning exam and x-ray. So what we can do with this data is if we know everybody in our area can afford treatment and we know it's a higher income area and we know that they have a higher dental IQs and they've been taking care of their mouths much better than middle to lower income areas, then what does that tell us? Well, we probably don't want to do bread and butter dentistry in these areas, right, as much. We're going to want it to focus more on cosmetic cases, aligners, implants, veneers, those kind of things, potentially, right? That's not to say you can't build a bread and butter practice here. Doesn't mean that. Just means you're going to have less of those opportunities and you're going to have more opportunities for elective procedure, so to speak, more of the cosmetic stuff that a lot of dentists can do. And so you have a couple different ways that you can market for that. The more expensive way to market for those kinds of patients is to work on like doing a consultation for implants. That's one way that you can actually drive a lot of leads really, really fast for that. Another way is to do like veneers, consultation, those kind of things. That's also more expensive. The other strategy is to put yourself on social media and make a ton of social media content. That's expensive and a lot of work as well. And you have to be willing to put yourself out there and put in those reps to get that. I know a lot of doctors that do that successfully though. Or your other option is to run a competitive hygiene model. So you go and do the research in the market, which we just did. And and we say, okay, we're going to have more Google reviews than everybody else, and we're going to lower our cleaning is going to be right below everybody else, and we're going to bring in all these high-income patients. And what are these high-income patients going to need? Are they going to need more bread and butter dentistry? Are they going to want more cosmetic opportunities? And then we flip those in the hygiene department. That's the cheapest way to drive cosmetic opportunities to an office. Now, the other option is to drive emergencies. So position your office as the emergency office, run off-hour ads. So running ads when nobody else is open, no one else is answering their phone, making sure you are answering your phone, and then grabbing those opportunities and getting them in right away and doing that treatment, and then trying to secure them through a membership plan or into your hygiene department and try to win them over and try to wow them that way. So those are a couple different strategies to use here. Now, here's the other thing we have to consider, and this is bigger than the marketing. What I'm about to share with you is actually bigger than the marketing. If you want this broken down for you in your practice, just comment below. We'll get it to you. And I have this calculator that I'm going to show you. Happy to share it with you, and you can use it. You're going to love this. All right. All right. So let's say you want to get to, your goal is to get to 50 new patients. And let's say you're getting 25 from patient referrals. So to get there, to get to 25 patient referrals and 27 marketing patients, operationally, this is what you're going to need to do. This right here. Now, here's the problem, though. Industry average is this. So the industry average on 40 leads coming in, 40 qualified leads coming in for a dental practice, only 7 of those turn into patients. Let me repeat that. Okay? If a marketing company comes and gets you 40 leads in any market, they get you 40 leads. The average dental office, so 80% of you listening right now, only see 7 of those turn into new patients. How so? Well, industry average for phone conversion, answer rate is 65% during normal business hours. Phone conversion, average phone conversion, when you do answer the phones for marketing new patients is 50%. Average show rate, because the average time of appointment for marketing new patients is 2 to 3 weeks right now. So the average show rate, only about 70% of those are showing. So you're losing 30% of those. And then you're about 75% of the time, these patients are scheduling into the same month. So if we just change that and we answer 100% of our calls, convert 75% of those opportunities, schedule the people right away so the 90% of them show up, and schedule all of them into the same month, you get 27 patients, right? So you get 20 more new patients to get you to your goal. So none of this works. None of the marketing works unless you, for sure, have the operational structure to make that work. So I know nobody likes to hear that. Nobody likes this conversation, but it's the truth, and it's where we're at in the dental industry. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this? Is this the right approach, wrong approach? Do you want to look at your market? Do you want to see what your competition's doing in your market and how to position yourself? And we'll get that for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I know this is a longer one today, but I think it was worth it. And we'll catch up with you soon. Take care.